a little bit of job here. I started buying and selling stuff. Basically educated myself. And then I'd always been buying and selling stuff. My dad had a little coin shop.
Right from his start in 1965 in a North Carolina small town, life threw curveballs at him. When his family moved to San Diego in '67, young Rick, battling epilepsy, found escape in books about clever schemes and epic sea tales. School wasn't for him. He left early to sell fake luxury bags, making quick cash in risky ways. His life spun again when tragedy hit. His girlfriend Kim miscarried. Tune in. What did Rick Harrison face next? Let's reveal the dramatic turns in his story. The untold tale of Rick Harrison's pawn empire. Rick was born on March 22, 1965 in Lexington, North Carolina. His dad, Richard Benjamin Harrison Jr., served in the Navy, and his mom, JoAnne Rhue Harrison. Growing up, he had an older brother, Chris, a younger brother, Joseph Kent, and a sister, Sherry Harrison, who tragically passed away at 6. Rick's family had its share of ups and downs. His son, Corey, once dropped hints about them being related to Presidents William Henry and Benjamin Harrison, but Rick always had his doubts about these claims. As the twilight crept over the horizon on one unassuming evening, Rick stumbled upon an old, dust-covered diary in the attic, the yellowed pages hinting at secrets that might not only confirm his presidential lineage but also shatter the family history he thought he knew. In 1967, the Harrison family moved to San Diego, California, due to a military transfer. At 8 years old, Rick began experiencing epileptic seizures, which meant a lot of time in bed. During this time, he developed a love for reading, especially enjoying the Great Brain series by John D. Fitzgerald about a young con artist. This period deeply influenced Rick's early life. His interests weren't only in books, he was also fascinated by physics and historical tales, particularly those about the Royal Navy during the late 1700s and early 1800s. But school wasn't his strong suit. Rick attended Taft Middle School in San Diego but left school in the 10th grade to start his own venture, selling fake Gucci bags. He made up to $2,000 a week. In the early 80s, after a failed real estate deal, his family moved to Las Vegas. At 17, Rick's life took a major turn when his girlfriend Kim became pregnant. They faced a tough situation when Kim miscarried, but they got married shortly after and had 2 sons, Corey and Adam. The marriage didn't last long after Adam's birth. Rick met his second wife, Tracy, on a blind double date. They hit it off, moved in together quickly, and got married, blending their families with Rick's 2 sons. During the early 80s, Rick's dad started a small secondhand store in Las Vegas. Rick helped by day and repossessed cars by night. They eventually upgraded to a bigger place on Fremont Street and later to a busy area on Las Vegas Boulevard. In his autobiography, Rick shared how he and his dad dreamed of turning their shop into a pawn shop, a dream they made come true, starting a new chapter in their lives. As they worked toward their goal of opening a pawn shop, they faced an unexpected challenge from a rule that had been put in place in 1955. This rule made it difficult to obtain new pawn shop licenses, as it limited them based on the population size of Las Vegas. By the late 1980s, the city's population had grown significantly, reaching over 200,000 people and continuing to rise rapidly. Harrison, determined to secure a license for his business, began making weekly visits to the city office to check in on the population numbers, eagerly awaiting the day when the city would reach 250,000 residents. Once that milestone was hit, it would mean the door was open for a new pawn shop license. Let's go back to 1989 when Harrison's big dream started to become real. The pawn shop story. In 1989, after much anticipation and a few legal battles, the population reached the required number, and Harrison finally received the long-awaited license to open a pawn shop. With this crucial step behind him, he and his family excitedly opened the doors of the Gold and Silver Pawn Shop at 713 Las Vegas Boulevard South. This prime location, less than 2 miles from the iconic Las Vegas Strip, positioned the business perfectly to attract both local residents and tourists alike. Over the next several years, the business grew steadily. By 2005, the shop was thriving, with Harrison and his father offering around $3 million in loans each year. The interest on these loans brought in about $700,000 annually, marking a steady and profitable income for the family business. As the shop's reputation grew, so did its inventory. By 2006, the Gold and Silver Pawn Shop had become particularly well known for its impressive collection of sports memorabilia, each item carrying its own unique story. One of the most notable pieces was a Super Bowl ring from the 2001 New England Patriots, which had once belonged to professional football player Brock Williams. The shop also became a frequent stop for gamblers who were in need of quick cash. Corey, Harrison's son, observed that many customers would come into the shop to pawn items, desperate to get just enough money for gas to drive back home after gambling losses. This trend further cemented the pawn shop's role in the Las Vegas culture, as it became a go-to place for those needing fast financial solutions. As time went on, Harrison noted that the most commonly pawned items were pieces of jewelry. This trend remained true even after the family's pawn shop was featured on a television show called Pawn Stars. By 2010, the shop typically held about 5,000 pawned items at any given time, out of a total of 12,000 items in the store. Harrison had long been working on turning his shop into the subject of a TV show. After gaining some attention when the shop was featured on the television show Insomniac with Dave Attell in 2003, Harrison spent the next 4 years pushing for a full television series about the pawn business. But success didn't come easily. It wasn't until 2008 that Brent Montgomery and Colby Gaines from Left Field Pictures came up with a new idea for a reality show set in Harrison's pawn shop. They reached out to Harrison, and together they began shaping the concept. At first, the show was pitched to HBO, but HBO wanted to focus on the night window of the shop, turning the show into something similar to Taxicab Confessions. This idea didn't quite match what Harrison had in mind, but things soon took a different turn when the History Channel became involved. The hardest part of the process wasn't over yet. In February 2019, a controversial video surfaced on YouTube showing Corey Harrison with a handgun he was displaying in the shop. In the video, he mentioned that he would use the gun to deal with an intruder. The situation grew more intense when a woman in the video was heard demanding the return of a wedding ring that her husband had sold to the pawn shop. The chaos led Nancy Dubuque, a key figure at the History Channel, to step in and rework the show's format. She added on-camera experts to appraise the various items brought into the shop and included more emphasis on the complicated relationships between the staff and the customers. With the pawn shop up and running, Harrison now faces new challenges on TV. How a family show became TV's golden treasure. At first, the show was going to be called Pawning History, but the team at Left Field came up with the title Pawn Stars. This clever play on words boosted the show's marketability, helping it become more recognizable. The series featured Richard Harrison, known as the Old Man, along with his son Rick Harrison and his grandson Corey, also known as Big Hoss. Rounding out the team was Corey's childhood friend and shop employee, Austin Chumley Russell, whose personality added a fun dynamic to the group. By 2010, Harrison's contributions to the industry were recognized when he was awarded the Pawnbroker of the Year by the National Pawnbrokers Association. Even with these achievements, their success continued to grow. In January 2011, Pawn Stars became the most-watched show on the History Channel and the second most-watched reality show on television, coming in just behind Jersey Shore. Later that same year, on June 7th, Harrison published a book titled License to Pawn: Deals, Steals, and My Life at the Gold and Silver. The book became a hit, quickly reaching number 22 on the New York Times bestseller list. Their fame extended even further when Harrison, Corey, and Chumley made a special appearance in the American TV series iCarly. The episode, titled I Lost My Head in Vegas, aired on November 3, 2012, giving the Pawn Stars team yet another boost in the public eye. In the fall of 2012, a man named Harrison played the owner of a vintage store in an episode called The Safe from the TV show The Middle. Not long after, in early 2014, he became the face of the MicroTouch 1 razor, a shaving tool for men. His role was pretty big. He appeared in a commercial showing off the razor's features and benefits. Then by mid-2014, the History Channel launched a new show called United Stuff of America, created by the same people behind a popular show on the Starz network. This program explored important historical objects and their stories, like Andrew Jackson's cane used for self-defense, Abraham Lincoln's axe from his days of splitting rails, and Ulysses S. Grant's pencils, which he used to write his memoirs. In July of that same year, the History Channel premiered another show, a game show called Pawnography. Harrison appeared alongside two others, Corey and Chumley, where they challenged contestants competing to win items from the gold and silver pawn shop. Around this time, though, a major event happened in Harrison's personal life. His father passed away. This loss brought a lot of emotional and financial challenges to the family. Richard Harrison, the oldest son, took on a big responsibility early in life. By the age of 14, he started driving a school bus, parking it at home each night and waking up early to take kids to school. He only made a few dollars each week, but it helped the family. When he was 17, he met a young woman named JoAnne Rhue at a barn dance. JoAnne's father was a well-known county judge and later worked as a top lawyer for a big company in North Carolina. The couple got married in 1960, but things weren't smooth at first. Harrison made a bad decision and stole a car, which landed him in court. He had to choose between going to jail or joining the military. He chose the military and enlisted in the Navy in 1958. Soon after, JoAnne got pregnant, but their joy was mixed with some hardship. Their first child, Sherry, was born with Down syndrome, which brought both happiness and challenges. Though the TV show brought fame, personal struggles were just around the corner. Harrison's legacy of love and loss. But this wasn't the worst part. Despite the difficulties, Harrison and JoAnne had 3 more children. Knowing Sherry would need medical care, Harrison re-enlisted in the Navy in 1962 to secure health benefits for her. Sadly, Sherry passed away at just 6 years old, which was a tough blow for the family. Harrison, however, stayed committed to his Navy career. He served for over 20 years, working in roles like paymaster and petty officer first class on various ships. He finally completed his service aboard the USS Chinook in 1976. After leaving the Navy, Harrison and his family moved to San Diego, where he adjusted to civilian life. JoAnne, in the meantime, pursued a career in real estate and eventually opened her own office. When Harrison left the Navy for good in 1979, he was eager to join JoAnne in the real estate business, starting a new chapter in their lives together. But even after leaving the Navy, Harrison's life would continue to take unexpected turns, showing that his journey was far from over. Harrison and his wife JoAnne were hopeful about their growing real estate business. Unfortunately, things took a bad turn when the real estate market dropped and interest rates shot up to 18%. This tough situation caused Harrison to face huge financial losses, adding up to $1 million. In the end, his business collapsed in 1981. Years later, on June 25, 2018, Harrison passed away after a long battle with Parkinson's disease. His death left many feeling a deep sense of loss, but his influence and legacy still live on. After he passed, his wife JoAnne, their 3 sons, 10 grandchildren, and 5 great-grandchildren found comfort in each other and their strong family bonds. In his will, Harrison chose his son Rick to manage his estate and handle all his affairs. But it surprised everyone when it came out that his youngest son, Christopher Keith Harrison, had been purposely left out of the will. This raised questions and stirred up curiosity about the reasons behind such a choice. Just 2 days after his passing, the TV show Pawn Stars honored Harrison with a special episode called A Treasure Remembered. It was a tribute filled with memorable moments from the show and heartfelt interviews that celebrated the impact Harrison made on those around him. But that wasn't the most surprising part. In 2022, Rick faced an unexpected challenge when his mother JoAnne took legal action against him. She filed for a temporary restraining order, trying to stop him from making changes to the family business finances. This was part of a larger lawsuit about the ownership of their well-known Las Vegas business, which had been featured on their reality TV show. Tensions in the family were clearly growing, with legal advisors getting involved more and more. At 81 years old, JoAnne was worried that Rick might be putting her financial stability at risk. Things escalated even further when she threatened to remove him from the family trust. Though Rick was not fully aware of her actions, he felt that her decisions were being influenced by others who didn't have her best interests in mind. Even though Rick had tried to have a serious conversation with his mother over the past few months, he had no luck. He believed outside forces were playing a big role in her choices. This family drama got even more complicated as JoAnne focused on figuring out where her financial assets had gone since her husband passed. Legal papers and emails from September to December showed her urgent need for better financial support. The payments of $85,000 in 2020 weren't enough to cover her monthly medical expenses, which were around $115,000. These expenses included the cost of a full-time caregiver. JoAnne's concerns about her financial future were becoming more pressing as she tried to track down her assets and secure her future. As their TV fame grew, so did their personal and legal troubles. From family drama to courtroom showdowns. A complicated family issue started when a mother suspected her son had secretly used her money to get a loan worth $3 million without her clear permission. This family drama led to a lawsuit filed against the Harrison family in the District Court of Las Vegas. The lawsuit was brought by a man named Daniel Callahan, who said that Harrison and his son Rick didn't provide enough security at their pawn shop. Because of this, Callahan claimed he got injured, which cost him $220,000. He said that after an argument over a rifle he had brought to the store, he was forced out and pushed onto the sidewalk. Corey, Harrison's grandson, defended his family during the lawsuit. He explained that neither his grandfather Harrison nor his father Rick were involved in what happened with Callahan. Corey said that their main focus was making sure everyone in the shop was safe, and this was why Callahan was asked to leave. But that wasn't the only legal issue. Another lawsuit was filed against A&A Network, the History Channel, and the whole cast of the show, including Harrison. This lawsuit came from Wayne F. Jeffries, a promoter from Las Vegas who had managed Harrison and Chumley Russell's TV careers. Jeffries had once helped run a well-known Las Vegas restaurant and played a big role in launching the Pawn Stars show. He also helped fund a local Independence Day celebration. But Jeffries said that after the show became popular, his role became smaller, and eventually, he was let go without getting paid the fees and royalties he was owed. This disagreement came up because the cast of Pawn Stars didn't agree with plans for a spin-off series, which they first heard about from TMZ. The lawsuit showed the ongoing tensions behind the scenes of the popular show, but this wasn't the worst part. Alongside these legal problems, Harrison was also dealing with personal challenges. When he was 17, he and his girlfriend Kim were both excited and nervous when they found out she was pregnant. Sadly, they went through the heartbreak of a miscarriage. Even after this tragedy, they stayed strong and got married, later welcoming their first child, Corey. Their joy grew when they had their second son, Adam, but soon after, their marriage began to face difficulties, leading to their separation. During this tough time, Harrison met Tracy on a blind double date. They clicked right away and moved in together just 9 months later, getting married 8 months after that. Together, they raised Corey and Adam. As time went on, Harrison found love again with a woman named Deanna Burdett, who quickly stole his heart. On Valentine's Day, he surprised Barrett by proposing with an engagement ring, and she happily said yes. Their wedding was held in Laguna Beach, California, with friends and family attending the celebration. Chumley from Pawn Stars acted as the ring bearer, and Danny Coker from Counting Cars officiated the ceremony. The rock band Steel Panther performed at the reception, bringing a fun and energetic vibe to the event. This wedding not only celebrated their love, but also captured the lively spirit Harrison brought to his life and career. Stars played a big role in Harrison's life, shaping his daily experiences in many ways. He and his ex-wife Brid had gone through the ups and downs of marriage, but their relationship came to an end in September of 2020. After that, Harrison found love again and married Amanda Palmer in 2021. As of January 2024, they were still happily together. But this wasn't the hardest part of Harrison's journey. A separate, heartbreaking chapter unfolded in Rick's life, one that deeply changed him forever. In January 2024, Rick faced an unimaginable loss when his son, Adam, passed away at just 39 years old. The cause of Adam's death was due to the deadly combination of fentanyl and methamphetamine in his system. The Clark County Office of the Medical Examiner ruled his death accidental. Adam had been reported missing since January 17th after being out of contact for a while. Sadly, on January 19th, his landlord found him unresponsive and called the police. The tragic news of Adam's passing spread when Rick shared a touching post on Instagram, along with a photo of him and Adam having a meal together at a restaurant. In the post, Rick expressed his deep love and sorrow with the words, "You will always be in my heart. I love you, Adam." This message not only broke the heartbreaking news, but also showed the world Rick's deep grief and his lasting love for his son. What do you think is the impact of public figures sharing their personal tragedies on social media? Like, comment and subscribe for more discussion.